Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Joe White here for another edition of Live Free. So here we are. We're in the middle of this multi-part series and dealing with these 4 stages of why we must let go of the past. And, it's easier said than done. We've all been there. And I think we're all on the same page that these negative emotions that will consume our lives, that affect our emotional well-being, our relationship, our spirituality, our health, right? We're just not meant to, nor do we want to live in these feelings of anger, disappointment, frustration, being pissed off, disappointment, hurt, angst, all these. Like I said, it's easier said than done. So there's 4 stages. Now, last episode we talked about that willingness. I think sometimes willingness is the easiest of the bunch. Why? Because sometimes you have nothing to do except let life take its course. And we get so filled up with that pain, so filled with that suffering, that we hit threshold and say, that's it, no more, never again. And the pain of remaining the same is greater than the fear or pain of change. And we become willing. When it hurts bad enough, we will change. But then stage 2 comes in, and that's acceptance. And that's where people get hooked. See, we have to accept that we may never find the ending that we want. We may never get the solution that we desire. The wrongs may never be righted. We might not get the justification. We might not be able to go back and fix the mistakes that we've made. We might have to live with that feeling, that regret, for the rest of our lives. Or sometimes it's multi-feelings. For example, I remember many, many, many years ago, I was in a situation, and no matter what I felt there's always been something differently done. Maybe I could have handled it different. Maybe that other person, she should have handled it different. Or maybe we both could have handled it different. But then I think, well, no, the best thing that ever happened, it worked out this way. And I was feeling so frustrated for the longest bit of time until I realized that there was no answer. There was no singular answer that answered every question that was an antidote to every situation. See, sometimes the best thing we get through acceptance is an ending, because nothing begins until something ends. And we just have to accept that moving forward is far greater than staying stuck. Because if you're angry at someone, you're paying for the price right now. And if you're angry at yourself or hurt by yourself, you're keeping yourself in the feelings that you want to feel. And we got to give up this game, like I said, with willingness of why we feel justified. But once we let go of that, we got to understand that there's no way, no shape, no how. It does not matter of how we figure or reconfigure the past. What matters is right here, right now, this moment, and what we do in this moment. And like I said, the best thing we get is an ending, because nothing begins until something ends. And that's the gift of acceptance. It seems like I keep going back to my 12-step programs and for inspiration and resources here. And I'll end with this. I learned it back then many, many, many years ago, that sometimes you have to surrender to win. So it's not giving up. It's not admitting you're wrong or blame. But maybe it's just surrendering the notion that what you need to move forward isn't what you need. You just need to move forward. That's it. Because that's in your control. And everything else, especially if it's in the past, is not. It's gone forever. One way or the other. So the question is, what are you going to do about it today? So until next time, this is Joe White from Get Life Coaching. Live free. I will see you for our next installment. For stage number 3. And that is find a higher intention or find a higher purpose. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.